welcome back to New Day Family Farm. My name is Becca, and today is a really exciting day because we finally have finished our kidding season, which means the stress of the babies coming is over, and now it's just the pure enjoyment. And it's also what I think is the last day of winter, assuming the forecast holds. Today is the last day of freezing temperatures, and then it's uphill from here. So right now it's all of about 25 degrees here. We're in North Texas, and so it's like freezing. I mean, it's so cold. It's way abnormally cold this year. We always have a good freeze in like February, but it's been a little bit extreme this year. So I'm really excited. Everything's frozen right now, but by the afternoon, everything should be thawed and it should be ready to go for spring weather. All right, you guys ready to go see your mamas? So my daughter has finally named all of these babies, and so I have 15 different baby goats that I have got to show you because they've all been named. They all have purposes. And so I'm just going to roll this real quick so that you guys can meet all of them and see whether we're keeping them or if they're for sale. So a huge thank you if you were one of the dozens, almost 100 people commented different name suggestions. And so thank you guys so very much. We loved all of the names. And so any that we didn't use this time, I mean, we are saving those for a future baby because, oh, such good names. So we also did pick a winner for our giveaway. It was a random selection from everybody who commented. And so that winner's name is right here. And so if this is you, send me an email. I'll have my email down below in the description. I want to send you some goodies. A huge thank you to everybody, but we did pick one winner who's going to get some goodies. And while we're saying thank you, I also wanted to say thank you to those of you who helped me solve my mystery. So Amy is our fainting goat. She was the last one to give birth this year. And she is a color pattern that I just could not figure out. Well, you guys are amazing detectives. And I had several people who figured out what her color or color combination is. And we finally have an answer. So best guess is she's probably a Coup Clair color, which typically has black on the back end, which is why it didn't even occur to me to really look at that color pattern. But in Coup Clair, it is quite common to have that. It looks like a double stripe, but it's actually an inverted stripe, and the whole rump is black. Well, Amy just doesn't have a lot of black on her for some reason. And so all it comes out as in her color pattern is just, it looks like a double stripe down two sides of her spine. So very cool. You guys are amazing detectives. A huge thank you for that. If you missed out on winning our giveaway, don't fret. We have loads more goodies available at our online farm store, including our tallow balm with a new and improved scent. This stuff is absolutely amazing for your skin. And our new vanilla bean scent means you won't only have lusciously soft skin, you're also going to get to enjoy the lovely scent of vanilla all day long. To check out our tallow balm, goat milk soap, and more, check out the link in the description box below. So I wanted to talk through with you guys about why we decided to keep a couple of the babies this year, because I don't know, maybe you care, and if not, maybe it's something fun and educational. So I just wanted to share our reasons for why we do things like, selecting babies here on our farm. So number one was Bella's buckling back here. He is dancing. He is all brown, brown eyes, horned, so not typical flashy buck material. But as far as genetics go, this kid has got it going on, because both sides of his genetic line, he's got udders galore. He's got huge, spacious capacity udders, and he's got really good attachments, good teat length, good teat size. I don't like those skinny little, it's like milking a finger. Like, I want a decent size that I can get my hand around. They are good sized orifices so that a lot of milk can flow. I mean, just, oh, really good udders. Bella also has, Bella has a half sister who won grand champion for the Mini Nubian virtual show a few years back. And so she's got some really good show genetics in there too. And so that's not something we are typically looking for on our farm, because we do not do any showing. But it's always nice whenever we're talking about, creating more kids, to know that they do have really good conformation as well. So he was an easy pick, because I knew I wanted to replace one of our bucks anyway. And he's just, he's got the genetics for it. And then pick number two was Leia's baby back here. Now, when Leia had her, hi, sweet bang. When Leia had her, I said, no, we don't pick based on flash. We don't pick goats based on who's the prettiest, because we want to be focused on genetics, on hardiness, parasite resistance, stuff like that. Excuse me. And so while flash is really fun, we don't pick breeders based on flash. But here's the thing. So Leia was a first freshener, and I really had no idea what to expect from her udder. What I found is her udder is great. I mean, maybe one of my favorites. And as a first freshener, that's really, really uncommon. Most of the time, first freshener have udders that you dry off pretty quickly after the baby's weaned, so you don't have to milk them anymore, just because they tend to have small teats. They tend to not make very much milk. Sometimes their orifices are still really small, which is that opening at the end of the teat, and so it's hard to milk them. Leia has a great udder, right off the bat. Sometimes they don't make as much milk if they only have one baby that first year. She's making quite a bit. I think I got a quart from her this morning, and that's without separating her baby at all. And so I'm really, really excited about her udder. And so then that, combined with my children saying, but she's so pretty, I gave in pretty quickly. And so we are going to hang on to her baby, because it was a doeling, and so we can add her to our breeding and our milking program and also enjoy the flash that comes along with her. Now, pick number three is one that I definitely did not expect going into this kidding season. I honestly thought we'd keep a buck and no one else. So already there are surprises left and right. But this black, oh, here we go, black and tan, she's actually a buckskin, but looks really close to black and tan. She has a very extensive cape. She is a doeling out of Ruby. Now, Ruby is one of my really awesome milkers. She has one of my favorite udders to milk, simply because her teats are so stinking long. And so they're really, really nice to be able to actually, I call them a fist length teat, because rather than milking, 2 fingers, I can actually put my whole fist around and not get splashed with milk, which in my book is awesome, because the grip strength it takes to milk, I mean, if you're just doing 2 fingers, those 2 fingers get real tired. If you can use your whole hand, It is much easier on the wrist, on the fingers, on all those muscles. And so I love, love, love Ruby's teat length, but her udder attachments are really, really lacking. And so I knew already that I'm never going to want to keep a buck out of Ruby. Her udder is just not good enough as far as attachments. And so what attachments mean is basically the way the udder hangs. And so her udder's hanging fine right now. She's only a second freshener. She's about 3 years old. But as she gets older, those attachments, everything loosens as you get older, you guys know. And so those attachments are going to get looser and looser, and that udder is going to start to hang lower and lower, which is not good. That's where you really quickly run into injuries or mastitis, because the udder can get dirty when it's dragging on the ground, or just, her feet can rub up against it and cause problems. So we don't want to continue producing udders like that. So I really have always thought I'm not going to keep breeders out of Ruby, but we've decided we're going to do a little bit of an experiment this year because I love her teat length, but I would love to get better attachments out of her. And so we're going to do some really, really intentional breeding with Ruby and different bucks from our herd to try to see if we can get a doe out of her who has a really, really good attached udder along with those long teats that she's given us. And so step one is this baby over here. We're going to hang on to her and then see if we're going to let her freshen. We'll see how her udder is this first time around and go from there. Now, if it's a bad udder, she's either going to get sold to somebody who does not want to keep breeding. They just, want a backyard milker or something like that. Or she's going to get sold as a pet, or she's just going to go in the freezer. We are not here to produce more bad genetics. And so we have to be really careful if we find that we have a bad genetic, udder conformation, whatever. We're not going to keep continuing that. And so I know those are harsh words sometimes. People don't like looking at baby goats and thinking that, we're dictating their life. We might eventually put them in the freezer. But the reality is, if we're going to be responsible breeders, we have to have a plan for these animals. We can't just willy-nilly breed them and assume, somebody will probably want them, right? That's how we end up with a surplus of animals. That's how we end up choosing bad buyers, is when you just need to get rid of animals because you have so many babies. You get less selective with who buys those animals, and that's when you end up with animals that don't live a very good life. You're picking buyers who don't really care much for the welfare of your animals just because you need them out the door. And I don't want to participate in that. I want to make sure that all these babies back here have excellent lives, whether it's here or on someone else's farm. I want the best for them. Well, I will get off my soapbox before my fingers and toes freeze because I've got to get back inside. I've got to get some warm water poured into our rabbit pails back here because they are still frozen. And I need to make sure they get some water because Sage back here is nursing some babies. Actually, let me show you those really quick. Are you guys staying warm out here? Hello, sweet babies. Hi. I know, I'm big and scary, aren't I? Oh my goodness, you guys look great. It's been so funny to see how the different animals react to the cold. The goats hide in the barn all day long. They've been eating a ton of hay. They never go out because they hate the cold. Whereas these bunnies, they have been running around all the time. I mean, they don't care that it's been single digits overnight the last few days. They're happy. They come out and they play all night. It's great. They have those such warm fur coats on. The cold just doesn't even bother them. So I love that so much. But these newborns, I have not come out to check. They have fur, they have their eyes open, they can move around quite a bit, but it's so cold and that fur is still small. And so I was worried about body temperature. And so I didn't want to even open the nest these last few days when it's been so, so cold. So I have not checked on them. So I'm really glad to see that they're all doing so, so well. Not that I've really had anything to worry about. Sage has always been such a good mama to her babies. I mean, just shockingly good. And so I have absolutely loved her as our rabbit mama here. She takes really good care of the babies. She's learned to lock them in all the time so they can't escape, especially in this cold weather. She knows that they have got to be safe in that warm nest, and she makes sure that they are. I mean, I love this rabbit. She is just fantastic. All right, now that we've seen the babies, I gotta go in and warm myself. My nose is freezing, my fingers and toes are so cold. But I just had to share all this new life with you guys. I love sharing all of our fun farm things that happen out here because I know we used to live in the city and this would be my happy place. It's just watching somebody else enjoying the farm life that I really wanted so badly. So I'm glad I can help you guys with that same fix. Get your little farm fix, get your baby animal fix. I love it so much. So a huge thank you for everybody who's watched through all of the kidding videos. In fact, I'll go ahead and throw a link right here. If you missed any, click over here and you can go check out all those baby goat videos. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next video.